So I want to, how come I don't see you? I see you here, but you weren't on. Do you have to press a go live button? Oh, wait, I'm doing it. I got it.
You got me there?
I can even hear you. Yay!
Can you hear me? Okay, you needed to tell me the display name was my name.
Yes.
That was the display name. Okay, good. Okay.
We good?
We're good.
All right. So, Susan, can you test your voice audio?
Can you hear me?
I can.
I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, Anita.
Hi, Susan.
Yeah. So Anita can hear me. So hopefully the audience can hear.
All right. And Anita, you good?
Yes, I can hear you and see you all.
Okay.
All right. Yes. So in 4 minutes, we are going to go live with 2 exceptional women who I got to know. One, because I've just done a class with Susan and we've got to spend some intimate time together. And Anita, I met her on Facebook. And she's
LinkedIn.
So intriguing and interesting and amazing. Oh my God, wait till you hear her bio. Like, she's going to have to explain how her story and how she got to her bio. And she's an author, and she's she talks about sexuality and you know, as women, sexuality in your 50s, 60s, 70s, like you're like, really? So hopefully she'll turn up our volume and make us see that sensuality in our 50s, 60s, and menopausal time. That, you know, it's not the end, it's just your beginning. It's just your beginning. And so women, we just need as women to come together and to share and to empower each other. These women are here so strategically said to themselves they wanted more for themselves. They could have sat back and they could have said, I'm going to watch Netflix. I'm going to go play games on the computer. But they didn't. They kept digging and diving until they found their inner passion. And that could be you. You can all find your inner passion. And once you find your inner passion, you light up from the inside out. And that's amazing. And these women have a story. So I'm going to start by saying, hi, I'm Andi Weiss. And I put this together because I felt that empowerment and empowering women and bringing yourself together in the new year, 2022, become who you want to be. Stop hiding. Stop making excuses for yourself. We all can say, oh, I can't. Oh, but what if I? Oh, because I can't. Because get those words out of your dictionary. Those words, I can't, because, are excuses. We can start making ourselves, empower ourselves to saying we can be whatever ever we want to be, and we can do whatever we want to do, no matter how hard it seems sometimes. How hard. So I have these 2 guest speakers, and in a minute I'm going to bring on Susan Cox. Susan Cox is a woman of the highest integrity, and she has even transformed herself from the time that I've known her, which is amazing. And she's such a beautiful woman inside and out. And I thank you, Susan, for coming on and sharing with us today all of the things that we can be, instead of saying all the things we can't be, you know.
Absolutely.
And I find this interesting, and I'm going to just say this to you right now. I find it interesting that women my age who have, so I'm 64, right? So women my age find that they feel like they have to compete and dress like their 20-year-old daughters, you know, and they feel like they need to wear the jeans and the shirts up to their pippic, and you know, it's just, we need to find our comfort level. We can't be 20. We're not 20 again.
No,
You
no.
know, we're not 20, but so we can find who we are. So let me introduce to you Susan Cox. Susan Cox is a confident creator to women in their midlife, and she helps them write their style story. So, Susan, can you share a little bit about what that all means?
Yes, and thank you. I'm delighted to be here with all of you. So thank you so much, Andy, for making this happen. It happened. I'm Susan Cox. As Andy said, confidence creator and founder of Fiercely 50ish, where I help midlife women get visible with their style and their confidence, because believe me, you can't have one without the other. And so how this transpired, probably about five. I think it's always been transpiring. It's kind of like being premenopausal. You know, when we were born, we were premenopausal, right? So I think we've all been in training for midlife. And what the catalyst for me launching Fiercely 50ish was, I was in a toxic work environment. It's horrible. It was horrible. And it was a situation where the leadership didn't value anybody over 40. And just was not a positive culture, a great place to be. And I realized that I was not going to be a victim of that. So I decided that I was going to leave. I left, which is probably the best decision I've made besides marrying my husband. So then I realized, as a midlife, what was happening was that I was becoming what I wasn't accepting. I knew midlife was there. I thought, oh, I'm just 35. And so fast forward to the launch of Fiercely 50ish, I didn't want other women to feel like I was feeling, which was invisible, no longer relevant, and no longer necessary. So I took all of that information and knowledge, and then my fashion and style background, and decided to launch Fiercely 50ish, because women have an opportunity every single day to dictate how they want to feel by just how we get dressed. And that really struck a chord with me. And I thought, well, this is a great opportunity for me to help other women that are either in this situation or don't want to be, or want to be able to take what they've learned throughout their life and put it into style. So
nice. What a story. Thank you for sharing that. So how long have you been a confidence creator?
Going on 4 years now.
And you sure have grown since then. So
yes.
Tell us a little bit about what do you see as the biggest mistakes women make in their dressing today?
Well, that's a loaded question, Andy, and there's a lot to that. I think a lot of my clients, there's a couple of things. First of all, we wear the judgment of others, and we shouldn't ever. I mean, we've earned that right now in midlife, not to really care what other people think, which sounds a little harsh, but we've got to own our own self. And I'm sure Anita will talk about that later as well. And I think that's a common theme with your group, is that we've got to be comfortable with who we are today. The second is that you touched on it, like only if or when, or, we've got to stop kneecapping ourselves. Women are the worst offenders of that, where we apologize for showing up, and we shouldn't. And one of those is in the way of, I have a lot of clients, well, I'll work with you, Susan, when I lose X amount of weight. And I say, no, you won't. And they are all taken back, because we have spent our lifetime chasing two bodies. One was what it used to be, and one is what it could be. Instead, we've got to look at our today body and love and respect her, because especially in midlife, time is a precious commodity. And what are we waiting for? Why are we postponing feeling and looking, fiercely 50 is fabulous, when it's not that hard. So I think those are the two barriers that hold a lot of women back. And then once we adapt a ageless mindset where we are, deserving of getting what we want, we're capable, then things start to change. So once that starts, the mind starts opening up, amazing things can happen. And I've worked with women of all sizes, of all shapes. And, the confidence piece is really probably the most prominent that comes through, because I teach them exactly what they need to know about their body shape and their body type and who their style personalities are. But they have to be able to know that they are capable. And that's what I help them do.
Yeah. So like here, I'm the worst offender. So I just share that. So, you try to like wear clothes that you wore. I save my clothes all the time. And I try to wear the same clothes that I had 10 years ago. Like they're hardly worn and they look brand new and they look great. But you know what? They don't look great on my body anymore. They don't fit the same. The body worked out, right? So I think I should get rid of those clothes. But somehow, do you find that there's that mentality, well, I'm going to get there again, and I'm going to get there again. And then you find yourself with a closet of all these different sizes. And then when you really need something, there's nothing to wear.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. And you've hit the nail on the head. And I call those the just in case outfits, which is very similar to what we were talking about, chasing the two bodies instead of our today body, chasing the one that was in existence years ago and the one that we want, that we're going to get without, and you're right, because it torments us. And I don't know if you remember the Wizard of Oz, but when Dorothy and the Scarecrow and all of them were walking through that forest of those trees were mean and grabbing at them. And I have a lot of clients that I talk to that why are we tormenting ourselves with keeping that kind of taking up precious real estate in our closets when they're no longer serving us, and we're letting them judge us, our clothes, and instead of us filling it with clothes that we love and that love us back. And that's when you can.
So that's really true. I just needed to share that. So I needed to purge a little. So let me ask you a question. If you had who is your client? And hi Mindy, how are you? Mindy Green, and she joined us, and she's saying hello to all of you.
Hi Mindy.
So Mindy's an awesome person. I love you, Mindy. So tell me, who is your perfect client?
Well, my perfect client is someone that wants to be, to reach the potential to match the power that they have on the inside with the outside. It's someone that perhaps has put themselves last, and that sounds like a cliche, but women do that. And especially, when we wake up in midlife and realize that was my issue. Like I woke, I was just 35. Well, no, I wasn't just 35. That was a long time ago, but I was ignoring it. And so I want people that have hope, and there are, limitless opportunities when we can work together and get your style where it needs to be, and to know that it is not a life sentence, and that it is possible to wear clothes that enhance your body shape and get the colors that you need. And to be more importantly too, is to take that all in with your personality and align it to a style that's going to work for you, that you define it.
Yeah. So people have different personalities. Some people are very conservative and suit like, and I notice like I'm so I know there's a psychology to this, right? So here's the psychological thing. So me, I love to dress comfortable, and I always feel weird when I get dressed up, like it's just not comfort level. And I'm always happy in something that's used and worn out and That's something from my past, right? Yeah. Like I don't understand that, but I need a psychiatrist for that. You don't do that. But share with us about, you have your perfect client. So what do you do? What are the things you go through when your client comes to you? What steps do you take?
Oh, we take, well, first of all, I want to have them understand and myself understand exactly what it is they want with their style. Like, what are their aspirations? You know, who's their style go-to? It's no different just because we're in midlife. We still have the same feelings and we want to feel and look good. So, you know, I'll talk about what are their words that they're looking for when they think about the style that of their future self. We talk about also, you know, what others would say about them. It's really getting into their personality and, you know, and to bring themselves to the forefront, because for so long they weren't. And so what's important to them, what their lifestyle looks like now, because that's another big deal, you know, like especially with COVID hitting, that a lot of women have a closet full of clothes that don't align with their current lifestyle. Some people may be retiring earlier than they thought, or maybe people are returning back to work, and you know they want to make sure that the clothes that they have align with that lifestyle. And to that end, too, Andi, with COVID, I think it's really changed how style is viewed. The power suit and all of that's no longer. I don't think that has the potency it used to. That this is a great opportunity now to be able to really have your personality shine through your style. We talk about, then we get into your body shape and your body type, and those are two separate pieces. But a lot of women, you know, we're marketed to the ads that you see in print and on television are all for the rectangle body shape. And a lot of us aren't rectangles. So, you know, to be able to really have that intelligence and get rid of the clothes that are not enhancing your body shape, no matter what, for your today body. And then also talk about, and then we go from there to go into their closet, because if you don't have that intelligence that I just spoke about, like your style personality, and it can be a multiple personality, in your shape and your type of your body, how on earth are you going to be able to clean your closet? Because, you know, I spent decades cleaning my closet, having no idea, and then just filling it with the same stuff over and over again. So that's what we do in a nutshell.
Neat. So do you have group sessions, or you just do one-on-one?
I have different ways that people can work with me. I have a signature course called 6 Weeks to Your Style Reimagined, which is going to open up in the beginning of February. That it's a 6-week course going through what I just discussed. And then each week there's live coaching about that. And then they can also, so that's one way, and that's great because, you know, no matter how old we are, I think women still want to have women go to the bathroom with them. You know, they still want to travel in groups, and that helps. So they can do it in a group setting, or we can also do that one-on-one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Very good. And what a great opportunity. I mean, people like to have people shop for them.
Yes.
But to actually be able to have a coach to share with you, oh, that color is not right for you.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That cut of that dress is like, I don't think so.
Right.
So that's what a great opportunity. Marvelous. Now, tell me, New Year's is coming up, mm-hmm. and the New Year's Eve's coming up, and the New Year's coming up. What do you see for the new year?
As far as
in fashion.
Oh gosh. Well, that's another thing too. Fashion is fleeting and style is forever. So what I'm seeing, and to make that differentiation, is that you have to be comfortable with your style and not be a slave to fashion, because that's when you get clothes that, you know, will go out of style in about 30 seconds. So right now the new color for 2022 is the periwinkle, which is a gorgeous color. It's a purplish blue. And so I'm working with clients with that color. Now, if that's not the color for my client, then we work with accessories. So maybe, you know, it doesn't look good against their face, so we could use it in a shoe, or we could use it as a purse, or that kind of thing. And I think it all depends too what everyone's comfortable doing. I spend a lot of time with my clients on their style personality, whether that's classic or a boho, romantic, natural, etc. Because that to me really gets people excited. And if they can start there along with their body shape, then things just evolve from there.
Okay. So anything goes that you're comfortable with and you feel mm-hmm. good in and looks good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what are your tips for 2022?
Well, the tips I think for 2022 for midlife women are to, first of all, embrace your today body. I can't stress that enough, because if you don't, then the magic won't happen. So that's in style, is to dress your body today, and to be open-minded to the possibilities. I have a lot of clients that'll say, well, I can't wear skinny jeans. And then I'll say, well, have you ever tried them on? Nope. And I said, well, you can't, let's look at that. And then we go into, so as far as other great trends, again, I think it's all self-defining. And we have talked about this before, Andi, too, that one of my quotes is that age is an image. And I believe that the whole theory behind that is that we get to decide every single day what image we want to portray. And we can do that through clothing.
Okay. I love it. Okay. That sounds good. All right. Oh, good. All right. And so you have a statement that you made on your page that I found was very intriguing. And your statement was, age is an image. Mm-hmm. So can you share how you see that?
Right. And I just touched a little bit on that, is that we have the opportunity every single day as women, no matter what our age is, to portray an image. Some days it's, maybe we want to be a little edgier, maybe we want to be a little more conservative, but that's the exciting part of what I do, because once I can teach my clients that mindset, the world is their oyster. The style is from our head all the way to the bottom of our feet, and we can do that from whatever hair color we have to shoes and everything in between. And it can change from day to day. So,
okay, I love it. And do you think that the way we dress in individual dresses could be actually their brand?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We all have a personal brand, and we talk about that when I work with my clients.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a whole interesting subject right there. All
yes.
right. So, Susan, is there anything else you'd like to share with the women here? Maybe there's some men. I hope there's some men. It's fine. But so maybe they can buy their extra special something that they would appreciate or have more insight to. But do you have any offers or anything that if people wanted to work with you, would you post for them where they can find you?
Absolutely. I'm happy to put it in the group. And I've always subscribed to the great things always happen with a good conversation. So I have my prospects that turn to clients. We have a free mini style consult to get more information.
Okay.
So
anybody who needs to learn more about their style and to feel confident in this age, I don't want to call it middle age, because I maybe it's my hang up, but we're getting older. Middle age is now, I don't know, 70 up to me.
Yeah.
But it's a concept. It's just all the way we perceive it. So, but if anybody wants to learn how to dress for their body type and to feel good about themselves and have a closet to go to and say, oh yeah, I can just take anything out of it, instead of going, oh no.
Right.
Then Susan Cox is your woman, and she's going to put down all her information on the site for you. And is there anything else you'd like to end with, Susan?
Well, I just can't thank you enough, Mindy, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Mindy's name, Andi, for having me, and I'm very excited to be part of this group.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we're going to offer a membership at the end of this week. And all the speakers that you see here are going to be part of that membership. You are going to get their knowledge, their information, their coaching right there once a month, not once a week, but there will be somebody different every month. So what great information. And I am sure if you want to just message Susan, she'll be more than happy to answer you any questions that you have.
And I'll put this in the group, the comment. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
So how is that, ladies? Was that amazing? Like, we could actually just have somebody just share with us. Oh, you know how you start, oh, that's not a good color. That's not a good color. You could have actually somebody share that with you and tell you without hurting your feelings. Because if you had a really good friend, they would just say that's horrible. But most people don't want to hurt your feelings. So, well, thank you, Susan, for all that you've done for us. And thank you for all the women that you helped make beautiful and confident. Now we have our next guest up here, which is Anita
DeFrancesco.
I'm gonna like try to change your mic here. I'm just change. Oh, here it goes.
Yeah, I didn't put my name in there, but Anita DeFrancesco.
Anita DeFrancesco. Thank you. So let me just say a few things about Anita. As she's here, first of all, I don't know where to start, Anita. You are an amazing a female who definitely is empowered. So, Anita, was your first job in the hospital?
Yes, when I graduated high school, I wanted to be a nurse. So I became an X-ray technologist because I thought that technology when I went to school for that was the 1970s. And I thought it was so interesting, technology. We weren't as, technically advanced as we are today, but I got to learn how to read X-rays with the doctors and learn about the body. And I really got insightful on the medical body and disease, and do you need an operation? Do you need medicine? I started to become very holistic after that in my thinking about medicine and natural healing.
Interesting. So that was your beginning. That was
the beginning. I mean, I had other things before that, but that was the beginning of my career. Okay. Yes, my career.
So from all of that, you went on the journey of holistic medicine and trying to live holistically. All right, so listen to this, ladies. Listen to this. Now, this is a woman I don't think ever watched Netflix. So she's an author, and you have a current book coming out. You have a book that you're actually on Amazon.
I have two books.
Okay, share that.
So my first book I wrote is called Live Free, Your Journey to a Liberated Life, Spiritual, Sexual, and Spiritual, Sexual, and Emotional Wholeness. So it took me a long time to write that, but that's a book about how my journey progressed and how I transformed into self-loving myself. And it talks about the different awakenings that I've had as a child throughout, from the time I was a little girl up until at least 30, the age of 30, and all the different awakenings and how I grew from them and how I used them as a healing tool and a growth mechanism and so what I did was put this all together in the book, and that book is my book resume of what I do and the different paths I've taken. And then I talk about exercises in the back that people can do to help themselves, because my background is psychotherapy, love and relationship coach. And what I do, that was after X-ray. So I became a psychotherapist and a love and relationship coach. A Tantra wisdom is my work teacher. And so I give people exercises of how to communicate, say, with a beloved, or how to self-love yourself, how to breathe, how to open up your heart, how to open up the heart space so that you can start to self-love yourself. And when you start to self-love yourself more, you really become more in touch with your higher power, and you become more blissful, and you start to remove the obstacles and the judgments and the criticisms that we're surrounded by, that people come to us and we're always worried about what people think. And so once we start to remove these obstacles, now we can see the clear picture of who we are, and we can step out. And once you're able to step out, this is where the authenticity starts to come. You become the authentic you. So you begin to step out into who you are, out of the patterns that we live, out of the things that we had in our life from childhood that kept us binded into toxic shame or judgmental thinking, negative thoughts in the head, negative head chatter that says, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm not good, I'm not smart, I don't have the energy, or no one likes me, these headsets. So in that book, I wrote all about these things in there, about how I transformed. And believe me, I moved some mountains, I have to say, because I had lots of head chatter growing up, a lot of abuse and negativity that I had come from. But then I'm born and raised Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but then I moved to California for 20 years because that was an awakening I had. I had this awakening. I just woke up one day and said, I'm moving to California. And it just, my life took off. And then I got into many different healing, spiritual works, empowerment, all of it, all the things I needed conscious. Because of, really where my journey started, I was 9 years old and I had rheumatic fever, and I was in a hospital, confined to a bed for 6 months. And I was the 4th grade, so that was like a lockdown. Think about lockdown now, what the kids are going through, okay? When I was 9 years old, I had a lockdown, which was really unheard of. I was hospitalized for 6 months and then the other 6 months at home. So I missed the complete 4th grade. But I didn't go to summer school. Instead, I didn't go to get left down, but I had to do summer school for the rest of my life because I missed a whole year of school. But my mother didn't want me to graduate with my sister, who was the year younger, whatever. So anyhow, that was the awakening. Let me tell you something. I wish I would have repeated the year because school was hard after that. But I managed to get my master's degree. But in that time of the sickness was where my awakenings came, where I started to awaken because of the sickness. And that's why I went into X-ray technology, because I wanted to learn about medicine. I wanted to see what doctors did and why was I sick, and they wanted to do heart surgery. And rheumatic fever was real big in the 1960s, but the lockdown is what kept me frozen and got me armored, so to speak, in the body. And this is where I wanted to learn more about psychology and spirituality, because the armoring actually internalized as a frozenness from being separated from the family for 6 months and then away from the school kids for an entire year. Just think about what the kids are going through lockdown now. It's a whole year of no bonding, like if they're in the 4th or 5th grade. So when I went back to school, no one knew me. None of the children accepted me. I was the girl looking on the outer circle at the inner circle. And so this is when I went to school for dance therapy and psychology, and I wanted to be part of the group, the circles. And that's what was my big awakening, to move from where I was. I actually was called spiritually to move out of the area to go study at the age of 30. And so as I progressed into my journey, I continued to follow my path, and I found all my mentors, all my teachers in California that taught me dance movement therapy, my psychology degrees, my spiritual breathing, all the different yoga, everything. I mean, it wasn't overwhelming to me. It was like, it was me. And I actually felt like I was chosen by God, to be honest. Really, I was like how people say they're chosen or they're called spiritually. Well, the sickness wasn't fun. And going to school from 4th to the 12th grade, or at least 4th to 8th, in the grade school, the kids never knew me. They didn't accept me. So I was kind of like unaccepted. It was really tough. I mean, so how does a woman become empowered when she's not accepted and she's criticizing herself and she has this voice in her head all the time that no one likes me? So you go in the world and then you think men don't like you, boys don't like you, and you're constantly working that self-esteem, that low toxic shame that lives in us. And it comes from abandonment. It's what it's from, being abandoned, neglected in whatever way, not necessarily from a family, but just from friends. And so I think kids on lockdown are being abandoned. Really, in a way, I think they're going to be triggered when they get older now with this whole thing going on with the pandemic. But anyhow, that was the journey. Then I went and that's the first book. The other book is a different book. I could talk about that after. That's something else. But this book is the book about who I am.
Oh, but I think that's amazing. So this all stems to when you were sick.
Yes, when I was 9 years old, rheumatic fever not many children had it. In the 1960s in Philadelphia, was a very popular disease then, 1966. But when you have rheumatic fever, it's like having COVID because you have 106 fever for 6 months. And your joints are swollen and your heart is myocardia enlarged. I had to be in a wheelchair. So when I got out of that wheelchair, I mean, here I am, a child. I couldn't play any sports. Like back then, the kids played jump rope in the street.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that because cardiology was not as advanced then. The doctor said no exercise. Now they tell you to go buy yourself a treadmill, So medicine has greatly advanced. And when I was a little kid, I couldn't do anything. And I was so more locked down because I couldn't go jump rope with the kids. I wanted to play basketball. And so then I finally, when I got into x-ray technology at Thomas Jefferson Hospital in Philly, they had a swimming pool. And I met this girl named Mindy. How about that? We got a Mindy here tonight. She was one of my little mentors back then, Mindy. And she took me to the pool, and I swam like I became an Olympic swimmer. Because I thought that was the only thing I wasn't jumping. The doctor said don't jump. Now they want you to buy 3 treadmills for your home, So I thought swimming was just, I'm not jumping. My heart's going to be okay. But to tell you the truth, last year I got COVID with really high fevers. Like when it first came out and I had pneumonia, it was no shock to me to have high fevers. I'm thinking, do I have rheumatic fever again? It was amazing how I mean, the fevers were nothing, but I thought to myself, I haven't had 106 fever, and this COVID I had last year lasted me 3 months. That's what made me think I was having rheumatic fever again, but you don't get it as an adult. Anyway, it's gone. It's a disease that's gone. But so that got me into dance therapy, celebrating life. Now, dance therapy is a career field. You can get I'm a somatic psychotherapist. So dance therapy, you can get a degree in that. And I wanted to go to Hahnemann here, Hahnemann Hospital in Philly, because it was an allied health profession at the time, but then they had canceled it at that time when I was 30. There was no more programs. So that's why I went to California, because California had the programs. And UCLA eventually canceled it. So it's really not in the college. At certain colleges with psych where you can get the dance movement therapy credential, but where I learned my dance therapy was just in private classes all over town, because LA, it's full of dance movement. And this is what really, after being in a wheelchair at 9 years old, I can't sit down. I can't ever sit still, because I feel like in my mind, this is my empowerment, that for a whole year as a child, a year or two, because that sickness lingered, I wasn't able to do anything, play, jump, and so now, and in a wheelchair, when I think about myself being in a wheelchair for a year, can you imagine? I thought I was never going to walk again. Now I'm jumping and walking, and I'm on treadmills every morning, all of that stuff. So I feel like that gave me an incentive to be in shape, like us women want to be, and
today, if that didn't happen in your life, would you be in the same place today? And that's an unpredictable answer. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, we're shaped by our experiences. So what I ask my students to do, I teach classes and things, is to write things down, reflect on each, your experiences as a child. What was a highlight? What stood out for you? What kind of shaped you? What was something that someone said to you, or maybe you went to hang out with an aunt or uncle and they had some great kind of career. Like I had an aunt, she was a dressmaker. She made all the girls' wedding dresses. Not mine yet, because she's dead, and I'm not married yet. Maybe one day. But anyway, she made all the girls' wedding dresses. So I went and sat with her hoping that I could sew. But it wasn't my thing to sit, because I'm coming from a different energy of being in a wheelchair. I had to move around. And when you sew, you're sitting all day. But she had the talent, and that was really a highlight. And I thought that at least what I picked up from that was a sense of fashion, like colors, watching her put colors together, because it wasn't just wedding gowns, it was other kinds of gowns, proms, and high school things. And so I got a knowledge of colors and accessories and how that stuff goes together. And
and wearing things like modeling them. And I mean, I did take some modeling, school too later and acting, but I thought that was like a highlight. So I tell my students to write down the things in your life that you could go back and start to, look back at something that maybe could have an effect that you could grow from, or something that was there dormant in your body somewhere in your mind, in the back of your head somewhere where the brain didn't open, So you got to open this brain spiritually by doing some breathing or exercise or dance or yoga so that you can start to hone in on your niche and discover your authenticity. And for me, it was like it happened when I was 9. I became like this. It was a very profound awakening. And I was away from my family, so I didn't have parents. And I happened to have been at the time, in 1966, in Greater Philadelphia. I was the only white person with other children who were African American. And I say that in the back of my book. I really hope to get that book to Oprah one day. But anyhow, being in that time setting, when you're dying, and they took kids out in the bags, and they were sending, a lot of them had asthma and rheumatic fever, and some of them had to go to Arizona to live because of the climate. But today it's not suitable for asthmatic people, Arizona. So when the kids were being brought out in the bags and they were dying, this was like another awakening. Like, I guess I'm next, I'm next to go. And it's funny, when I had COVID last year, and I swear 3 months in bed, I didn't even look at the TV or talk to anyone or tell anyone I had it because it was just come out. So if you told someone you had it, you knew nobody was coming near you forever, right? Like no one was coming near you. Now everybody's getting COVID, but I mean, So I'm thinking to myself, well, I guess, yeah, so going back to these kids being brought out in the body bags, I felt like, okay, well, I'm next. And that's how I felt last year, like I was going to be the next to go. So I turned the TV off and didn't want to watch any of all the announcements. But I'll say the children, being African-American and myself, we really created a bond to break racism. And I was only 9 years old, 1966. And I was like, I grew up like, who's coming to dinner? When I got out of the hospital, a lot of them died. I was one who lived. A lot of the kids had died. There was a boys' wing and a girls' wing. Wow. And this was so traumatic. In my book, I write all about this and how they soaked me in ice every night. Because when you have high fevers, you got to be soaked in an ice tub because they don't go away for 6 months. I mean, this is like, but this is what you do when you're in Yoga Town in India. They get the hot and the cold, the hydrotherapies. And that's how the Indian people who invented yoga, this is how they transform their mind. It's like, so they get more aware out of the ego. They dissolve the ego. I'm not saying that's the way to go now. Go soak yourself in ice. But it's interesting how I became like the celebrating life kind of person, and happy. As much as I've had so much abuse in my family and life, I really have chosen to be happy, to be honest. And I feel like that is a part of my youth as a mature woman, is to be happy. So women who want to look younger, like the other woman, Ms. Cox, was talking about the 50s and how you dress, it's your attitude, it's your smile, what are you embodying? Are you embodying inside, like you feel happy and passionate about life? Like about something you did, you did the garden today, or you went shopping in a new store. I get real excited. A new Giant store just opened. I'm like posting all the pictures. Just people go, you put all these things up. And I go, you know what? It takes me away from reality. At the same time, it keeps me in reality.
I love it.
And that's a good balance.
What could you say to somebody who wants to feel that way? They want to be happy, right? But they feel like they don't have they can look at you and say, "Oh, you got it all together. You got it." But how do you have a method to help somebody find that inner happiness that they're kind of burdened with?
Well, the way you have to first want to be able to help yourself. Because we all need help. And
Yes.
a lot of things stem from the emotions. A lot of things stem from the head chatter, the noise that tells you, or your qualifiers growing up told you, ooh, you're this, you're that. Those voices, you know, that's stuck in your head. Now they're hard to remove. It's like you wish you can just get them and go, shh, take them out, get a knife and cut them out. But I find that breathing and doing a lot of meditation and stuff like that, and the certain kind of orgone energy breathing that I do, Dr. Wilhelm Reich's work, where I teach people how to open up and get more in touch with their heart. So again, self-love, coming back to yourself, to find, like, I'm not saying you have to be happy and jolly, but part of happiness is tapping into the passion of life. You know, see, so life, you got to find things in life. What is your purpose? What are you living for? Like, I love living. I love getting up. I love cooking. I'm not a great cook. Don't get excited, folks. I tell the guys, say, look, don't go out with me because my name is Italian, because I can't cook. Anyhow, but I could maybe make a steak. But the thing is, I can't make the pasta. Forget it. So the thing is, I think that if you find something in life that you have a passion for, ladies out there, men, ladies, something you like to do. Maybe you, like some of you have grandchildren, you know, you have a passion with that, but find something that you really like to, a hobby, you know, something, photography, anything. And then once you find this thing that you like, you're finding a purpose, then you want to get something, cultivate an exercise of some sort, whether it doesn't have to be the gym thing if you're not into that, but even some yoga or meditation or listening to soft music and just finding silent time for yourself, taking a hike. So you have to cultivate the silence in the body. The silence is where the answers come, inside.
Yeah.
So the quiet. And you don't have to be trained or anything. You can just, but you know, you might need some music, a little help, go read a book or something, find some information online about it. You can contact us. We know, me and Andy know. But the thing is, when you have this silence, then you find something new. That's number one. Number two is to find something that you have a passion for, like anything it could be that you enjoy doing, something that you enjoy doing. Now, I know we have our chores and this and that. We may not enjoy that stuff, but you may find joy making love to life. You may find joy in something that is a chore, actually.
Yeah.
You know, like to me, I love to clean. I love to clean the house. I love taking things apart. I get a high on that. Like, because I feel like every time I do that, I'm finding a new me. I'm like, I'm doing a layer. Yeah. And during the pandemic was a perfect time for people to, you know, clean out the clutter, so to speak. And that's another thing. And then, you know, from there, you should be able to have your own trajectory of where you see the next step going. So you have to sort of give yourself that confidence and courage to, like, be able to, okay, we give you one or two things, but now you give yourself something back.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
That's interesting. I was talking to this girl today, this woman, and she was saying that, you know, she gets worried when she quiets her mind. So she has to keep busy, because when she quiets her mind, all these thoughts from the past come back that she doesn't want to feel. So she just needs to be busy, but she's realizing that she has to digest and put peace to those things and let them go, you know? And
she could let them go. The fear is coming up of being alone with those that head noise or those experiences that she had. So the fear comes up, and some breathing, you know, doing something with the body, light things, breathing, because you need breathing. Breathing is key to help open up, because the breathing, what it does is like a suture. You're opening up, and then you're recreating yourself. And you're not reinventing. So there's a difference between reinventing and recreating. Like, reinventing is just like reinventing the same you again. But recreating is discovering a new you, finding the new you, making the new you. That's the change. And so, yeah. And
this is about the new you in 2022, right? So
it absolutely is.
We have some comments here. We have somebody watching from Brownsville. Can you see the comments on your side?
I don't know. I don't see it. I'm looking in the private. Oh, the comments. Let me look in the comment box. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Okay, watching from Brownsville. Yes, I agree with the current situation of kids. Anyone who could chat. Okay, so I see. Yes, my aunt had it as a child. Her aunt had it as a child. I don't think she ever recovered from it. What? Rheumatic fever. Because there was not taught a lot of self-care in those days. Well, I wonder how old her aunt was. Whoever the girl is that wrote that, the woman. Rheumatic fever, a lot of people now, they're going to their doctors, and they're people in their 50s and 60s, and the doctors are listening to the heart, and they have like a slight murmur, and the doctor will say to them, did you have rheumatic fever as a child? Because they're getting like fevers and sore throats. Nothing with COVID. This is all before COVID,
Right.
So I think that a lot of people went undiagnosed with that as a child, but they didn't have it severely to be hospitalized, because if you had high fevers, you would have been in the hospital. But I think that it's still around in adults. Like there's an adult rheumatic fever going around, now. And so it could be mistaken. It's like the same symptoms as COVID.
Right? You don't hear about it. My mother had rheumatic fever, and it messed up her heart a little bit as a child. But she's also from Philly, so you don't know.
Yeah, and well, I hear people that have this heart, like kind of mitral stenosis in the heart as an adult, and the doctor detects that just on a regular visit, and then he says, did you have rheumatic fever as a child? So these kids might have had it or touched it. I think it was kind of like a lot of kids had it, but it wasn't bad. And and so people get heart surgery for that. They get heart surgery for that, stuff.
Yeah.
And the people that had
that's a tough one, because it stays with you forever. But you overcame that hurdle and said, I'm not going to let it stop me.
Right, because I wanted life. And when you're in a bed and you watch other kids that are enjoying life, and you feel left out. And so my whole life I felt left out of everything.
So you wanted to run. You wanted to do your thing. You wanted to be part of something. Yeah,
right.
I get it.
And this is the empowerment of the feminine today that women are longing for to be.
Yes, and it's a beautiful thing. We are allowed to be whoever we need to be. I still feel like I was part of that transition generation where, I went from my mother's to my husband, to I went to a child, to a wife, to a mother, and then the
grandmother
left, and it was like, oh, well, now what? And it was like, oh my gosh, either I was going to stay frozen and depressed, or I was going to explore. And that's how I got into my personal development journey as well. So yeah, it's always that.
So that's a good thing for people to reflect on. What were your highlights growing up that could shape your life a little bit more, that you could bring out? And
some people would say they don't have a whole lot of highlights to their childhood, but they have to find something. There's something there that had to have been good. Right.
Yeah. Something.
So we're podcast. Share with us about your podcast.
Well, I've been doing different podcasts over the years. The one I'm doing right now is called Discover Joyous Love. And since I'm a love and relationship coach, my goal is, as a therapist and a Tantra wisdom teacher, to teach people how to find love, whether it be with your families, whether it be with a beloved, whether it be with your coworkers, just to open up your heart and understand that love is stronger than hate. So in my podcast, I go through different topics every week. This last one I had was toxic shame and the relationship. Because a lot of people are in relationships, marriage or partnered in some way, and there's a lot of toxic shame that prevents the proper communication, that couples are lacking, that they can have better lovemaking, they can have better love, they can have better times together, more pleasant times to spend together. People sometimes, they just roommates, a lot of this, the passion goes away. So people are like, they love each other, but nothing is there anymore. It's not even about the sex. It's really about the communication and talking about all of the things as you go along, appreciating your partner, taking the time to thank each other and appreciate. How many times do you say to your partner, thank you for doing this? I really appreciate that you took the trash out, like, and really get into your heart and say it, like, like, I really appreciate that you took the trash out for me every week. And you watch and see how they'll take it out every week, whatever. But, the thing is, it's about appreciating. And guess what? Sometimes people in my work, we teach how to give and receive. Now, balancing out giving and receiving. Are you a giver or are you a receiver? But to be a giver, you must be a receiver. To be a receiver, you must be a giver. But what is the levels of that? So in any relationship, now some people are more giving. It means they don't have enough self-love. They're wanting love. Or sometimes the receiver becomes like ugly, like a taker. And they want. But it's not about gifts now. It's about anything. So what I want to do in my work is teach people, and this is why I'm teaching people all about the different things that like affect you, that you can work on yourself to get to become more appreciative and honoring and adoring your beloved or people around you, and just saying kind things to people, giving compliments. And it's just really about that. And that's going to open your heart. That will open your mind. That will help make you more aware and conscious. And you can become that young woman at 70. I'm not 70, but you can become that young woman in your 60s. I'm 65. I just turned 65. So you can be happy, but see, the happiness will mediate your aging process. You'll be laughing, you'll be smiling, and you're not going to care what anyone else thinks, because really, it's really all about you. Discover joyous love.
Yeah. I love it. It doesn't matter. You're right. It's all about us. You, right? Us.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote, it's funny, every time anyone does something for me, I always thank them, as silly as it sounds. I don't think that's silly at all.
Well, it's like the giving, you give a gift, right? And then someone says, oh, you didn't have to buy me the gift. That is like taking away the giver's heart. That just shut. I bought a girlfriend a gift, right? This Christmas, actually. She said, what'd you have to give me a gift for? I don't want you to spend your money. I go, you just took away the art of giving. You just shut my heart down. I wanted to do that. Okay. So even if I didn't have the money to do it, that's what I wanted to do. I'm not a stupid person like I'm saying, well, let me give all, I want to do things. And when I want to do them, I do them. When I want to buy chocolate cake and cakes and candy, I do it. That's the thing. It's like the Nike saying, just do it. I'll tell you, that was the saying that moved me to California. I met a guy in California. He was a medical doctor, because I was an X-ray tech, and he wrote this book. He wrote a bunch of books. I don't know. And he said, he had the logo on there or something, just do it. And I said, I want to move to California. He goes, well, just do it. So I went home and I pasted it on my wall, and then I did it. So it was just like that simple, and I guess you have to kind of be simple with yourself, even though we have stress. We all have stress and things, If you laugh and you laugh, you will find simple. You will find simple that it's really not that bad, because nothing goes away. There's something every day that's going to be at us. But this whole thing about, it doesn't sound silly to say you thank you. I love when people say thank you. And that's what we have to teach each other, teach our children, teach our partners. And this is where the respect comes.
Yeah. I used to, I know I had a problem with receiving compliments. And I had to train myself. To say, somebody would say, oh, I really like what you're wearing. Oh, I love your shirt. And then I would say, that old thing. Oh, I got it on sale.
Right.
Just embracing that comment, I would always deflect it. And it took me a lot to learn to say, thank you. And it took me a long time to say thank you and really mean it,
Yeah, and feel it, right? Own it. Yeah. Own the feeling of thank you. Yeah, I was like that growing up. And I think young girls, young women coming up, it's part of the shyness, the not having the voice. My other podcast was It's Your Voice. Now this one is Discover Joyous Love. Same stuff. I just change the topics and then I domain them all, because I'm moving quickly with my creativity with stuff. But the thing is, the voice, the hidden voice. And once you get that voice, after you start doing some work, breathing, you have to do something with your body. I mean, you really do. Not necessarily to be in shape, but of course, yes, that's always a good thing. But just for the emotions and the nervous system, because for the feminine energy to live on, the body needs to move, to do something. And even if you go get a massage, once a month, that's doing something with your body. And really honoring the feminine is what we teach in Tantra, the feminine in all of us, because that's the Mother Earth, and that's the love. So basically it's about love, love versus hate, and having this balance and learning how to, it's about opening the heart, celebrating, being with people who celebrate you rather than tolerate you. The more you're with people that celebrate you, the more you start to get courage about yourself, more confident. So if you're with people that talk negative to you or, put the lid on you, so to speak, or they have that critical tone toward you, the belittling, the subtle belittling, you need to really, hopefully you walk away, or at least walk away from it, or know that it's there and don't expose yourself to it too much. Because they're the things that will knock you out in your presence.
Yeah.
Your presence as a woman coming into the world of womanly, the woman who you are.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I'm still working on all of that, but it's a process, right?
It is. It's taken many years. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Many years.
Right, but we're in a good time now for it in the world.
Yes. So tell me, if somebody was to work with you, what is your client profile? What is your client looks like?
Well, I work with singles and couples. I do Wilhelm Reich's work, or somatic orgonomy, breath work, so somatic psychology, where it's an intense type of breathing and some bioenergetics as developed. Wilhelm Reich developed the orgonomy Reichian therapy, and then Dr. Alexander Lowen invented this bioenergetics. And actually, I met Dr. Alexander Lowen before he died, when he was like 99, and we were dancing and moving in a class out in Massachusetts, and he was like, from this breathing work, this guy was like a 10-year-old at 99. I mean, really, his energy. Wow. So the energy is what you have to hone in on. It's about the energy of your body. And once you start refining, cleaning out that energy, this is where you become the new you. You get the higher power. You get the passion. Whatever it is that you want, it's there. You're going to grab it. Okay, so it's going to be there. It's going to float. You're going to have I have a lot of, we call it Shakti, and I have this Shakti. And sometimes I got to really slow myself down, because I just kind of have to go and isolate, really, because I have this Shakti coming through, the channeling. But what I work with is your breath. I want to get you emotionally cleansed first, emotionally breathing, and I see you in a live session in Philly or New York or Jersey, but I could do it on the Zoom as well, but if you're local, it's better in person, and I am seeing people in person. And what we do is get you to start to undo patterns and bring your split together. We all have a split, and working with armor, sexual armor, emotional armor, body armor that doesn't go away with a massage or a bath. It's armor that is in the nervous system stuck. So I get into your cellular level. That's my session. And of course, there's coaching and all that goes with it. And then the Tantra for couples, teaching couples how to communicate, giving them tools to communicate. Eye gazing. Because your eyes have armor, so you eye gaze. We teach how to eye gaze and look into your partner's eyes and talk to your partner. People have this shame that hides them, and they don't really look, they don't connect. So I teach people how to bond in that way as couples. And in my workshops in Philly, I do meetups once a month live now. And so that's what I'm doing, and where I can do Zoom with you. Yeah. Yeah. TantraWisdom.com is my work. Tantra Wisdom. I could put it in the thing here, and I
Yeah,
could put
just
it.
type it in for everybody to see where they can get in touch with you. Does anybody have any questions that they want to chat about? Now's a good time to ask Anita. If not, Anita's going to leave her information where you can get a hold of her and message her. I just think thank you so much for sharing, all of you tonight. It was amazing. You just gave so much value to all of these women who are listening, and I know it's so appreciated. And I'm just looking for comments. Okay, got it. All right, so just want to thank you, Anita, and we will talk later. And
Okay.
I love what you do. And so I just want to share with everybody, these women. You had two awesome women on here tonight, and they both are empowered by their passion. So you know what? Look at this. You can do it too. You can be whoever you want in 2022. You just have to say yes to yourself, and find the tools to help you get there. Yes.
I just want to say thank you for having me on. And did you want me to stay on or go
No
off?
problem. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
all right. Thank you all. Good night. All right. Thanks.
All right. So, women were great, weren't they? They were absolutely amazing. And I find myself very attracted to women who are empowered and are energy. They're so energetic. I think that's what it is. Their energy. So, I'm just going to end tonight and say that tomorrow night we have Susie on, and she is a financial whiz, and she is going to do the ABCs of finance, because a lot of women, like, we still depend on our husbands, or our husbands, to take care of our money or pay the bills, or work on our tomorrow. But you know what? You work, ladies, you need to take charge of your money, and you need to be able to know how to spend it and how to save it and what you'll need for tomorrow. And tomorrow is not that far away. I thought retirement for me was forever, and now I find myself, I can retire next year if I want. I could have retired 2 years ago, but by age, but I have different circumstances here. But yeah, so it's amazing. So Susie's going to empower you in the realm of money, and don't have fear about money. Money is just an emotion, and we're going to learn how to try to break through those money emotions. So let me say thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here and listening. And I hope you all receive something from it. At least one thing. You can leave a comment if you want and tell me how you thought about this, and what you would like to hear more of. And I also would like you to go back and don't forget to take that Perfect You quiz, so you can learn how to see where you want to be for the year 2022. What do you want for yourself? Just one thing. Just name one thing that you want to accomplish, or you want to discover what you want to accomplish. Who am I going to be in the year 2022? So there's a quiz for you so that you can rate all the areas of your life, your wheel of balance, and take that quiz. See where you are. See where you feel like you want to be stronger at. It's in health, it's in relationships, your job. There's like 5 things there. I can't think of them all now, but just take that quiz, and I will give you a free consultation at the end of how to get where do you want to go and help take you from part A, which is your starting point. Every game has a start, and then to our goal. All right. And then there's that in betweenness, and that's the thing that we need to work on. You definitely enjoyed tonight. Excellent. If you enjoyed it, please share with other people. Please share it, because you know what? I opened the group up so people can come in for this wonderful thing. These 5 days will be on the site for 2 weeks, and then it will come down. So I just wanted to share that with you. So you definitely invite people in, and just tag them in the group, and then we'll let them in. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and remember, this journey you're not alone in. This journey, we're always with you. The coaches walk with you. We don't walk in front of you. We don't pull you. We don't walk behind you. We step with you, step by step, to help you get to where you want to go. And it's just a journey. It's a journey we're all on. And I want to share that journey with you. And we are here for you. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we're going to have Susie on. Can't wait. Yay. All right. Have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.